Okay, I'm going to show you how to load a Super 8 film on a Wolverine. Basically, you got these three things. This guy here, I've learned, it doesn't really matter whether you put him this way or this way, but he definitely goes on the right side. There's a, I call it notch up here at the top that goes into these little slots right here. This one has to mate that slot. So what I always do, this will move either way. I always put him right at the top. Then I take this and I slide him on. You make sure you see I didn't quite get that right. So you make sure you got that nice straight up and down, and then he'll fit all the way on like he's supposed to. Now this guy here, just so you understand how he works, he's got a little slot, and there's that same little notch up here at the top. That little notch goes just like that. So that's how he's ultimately going to end up being. But what I always do is this here has a little, you might not really be able to see it too well, but right at the very end of this red thing is a little hill or a bump. I make sure that bump is there at the top. And then this guy here, I make sure this slot, there's a slot right here, that he matches up with that little hill there. So I push him on right here. So he goes on, but now we've got that same little notch that we were talking about. I move the notch to the top, take this roll here, make sure he's facing, meaning this triangle, that he's facing up at the top so it can fit in that notch. I put him in the notch right there. And the other thing I made sure of is these little perforations, that they are toward the machine, you might say. They're not this way out, meaning I'm moving in the direction that you don't want it to be. You want it to be in that way toward the machine. So once you've done that, I roll this stuff up by hand. You follow the solid lines that are marked here on this here where it goes down, around, etc. But there's a little trick to this, and when I say trick, first, after you get this, there's a little doorway here that whenever you push this way, it opens the doorway. Don't confuse that with this, which this is for 8mm or Super 8, depending on which direction you go. That's 8mm film. This is Super 8 film. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is open this up like that. Now I'm turning the machine off. You don't actually have to turn it off when you do this, but I'm turning it off so that you can see down here what's going on, because otherwise you can't, because that light is blinding everything on the camera. So I'm going to zoom in real close there. Three little things to pay attention when you're doing this. You got a little white nub, I don't know what you want to call it. It's a piece of metal actually, but it's a little thing that sticks out that's white. Another one over here that's white that sticks out. And then right here there's a piece of metal that it's actually what comes up and grabs the film and moves it. That little piece of metal keeps going like this, grabbing one of those holes, pulling it forward, grabbing a hole, pulling it forward, grabbing a hole, pulling it forward. Make sure of is that this film gets under both this white one and this white one. I kind of pull it tight with my fingers holding it on each side. Then I push this down. And now it's loaded in there. Now that I've zoomed out so you can see what's going on, what I do is I take this film, pull it up around here. There's a little slot right, in case you don't know it, these films always have little slots here that the film goes into. So I'll always put that. Let's get this thing back on. Okay, this has to go up around like this. Doesn't go this way. It goes this way right here. So once I've got it to there, I slide it into this little slot right here like that. Then I take it by hand and I roll it in like this. I do that a couple times. Then once I get it in like this, this is whenever I will finally follow what these white lines are doing. So it's showing you it's got to go up under there, then it's got to go up over there, Then it has to go down up under right here. Then I'll take that little bit of slack out of it. Now at this point, it's just a matter of starting it up. So what I do is I hit enter, or the furthest one to the right, and it'll tell you what type of film to select. In other words, whether you have Super 8 or 8mm. Hit it the next time and it starts. And then this is common. I have something going on here where I just taped it together. So sometimes it'll do that when it first starts. I've had a few times I have to kind of force it to go, especially if a couple teeth are missing on the film itself. And then it'll just get going, and that's basically what it is. And now it's going to start filming. You can't see it, but here in just a second you're going to start seeing the film appear here. Right about now it's going to be starting. There's the film showing up in there. And that's how it does it. It usually takes about 15 minutes to do a roll like this, somewhere around there. And that's it. That's how you've rolled your film up.